Brothers and sisters, Africa is at a crossroads again. This week, Burkina Faso and Mali made headlines across the continent when they announced a boycott of the African Defense Summit hosted in Nigeria. What could drive two Sahelian nations fighting for their survival, sovereignty, and dignity, to refuse a seat at the table in such a critical gathering? The answer lies deep in recent tensions, mistrust, and history that goes beyond military cooperation. It speaks to the very soul of Pan-African unity, or the lack of it. Let us go back a few months. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff shocked many Africans when he openly proposed an unusual and controversial plan, to build a fence separating Nigeria from its northern Sahelian neighbors, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Why? He argued that the Sahel had become an unstable region, filled with insecurity, terrorism, and uncontrolled movement of people. To him, fencing Nigeria off was a way to protect the country from instability spilling southwards. But to Burkina Faso and Mali, that statement was more than just words. It was an insult. A betrayal. A reminder that some African leaders still see their brothers as the problem, instead of partners in a shared struggle for survival. Burkina Faso under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, and Mali under Colonel Assimi Goïta, have been crystal clear: the Sahel's instability is not born from its people, but from decades of foreign interference, colonial exploitation, and neglect. To accuse the Sahel of being a threat to Africa while ignoring the root causes, French military failures, foreign-backed insurgencies, and economic strangulation, is, in their view, a betrayal of the Pan-African spirit. So when Nigeria invited them to this defense summit, Burkina Faso and Mali asked themselves, why sit at a table where we are already branded as dangerous neighbors? Why join a dialogue hosted by those who just months ago were proposing to build walls instead of bridges? The boycott was not a small gesture, it was a bold statement. It said, if you insult the Sahel, if you call us unstable and treat us as a disease to be quarantined, then don't expect us to clap for your defense strategies. It was a message to Nigeria, but also to the entire continent: Africa cannot afford to fall into the trap of division. How can we speak of African unity if the largest country in West Africa dreams of building fences against its own brothers? The Sahel leaders reminded us of one thing: unity is not just a slogan, it must be lived, respected, and defended. Now, let us be fair. Nigeria is facing immense pressure. Terror groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP have taken thousands of lives. Cross-border arms smuggling is real. Millions of displaced persons and refugees have put Nigeria's northern states under strain. From Nigeria's perspective, desperate times call for desperate measures. Some within Abuja's defense circles see physical barriers as a form of protection. But here lies the mistake: by labeling the Sahel as the problem, Nigeria risks isolating itself from the very allies it needs. Because make no mistake, Nigeria's war against insecurity cannot be won without Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. This boycott is not just about fences, nor just about one summit. It reflects a deeper power struggle within West Africa. On one side, we see countries like Nigeria, historically allied with Western powers, still trying to balance between sovereignty and dependency. On the other side, we see the Sahel alliance, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, rejecting foreign tutelage, expelling French troops, and seeking new paths with Russia, Turkey, and others. The boycott shows us that Africa is split between two visions. One vision that seeks safety through fences, separation, and Western support. Another that seeks strength through unity, sovereignty, and regional solidarity. But history teaches us something: divided, Africa falls. Together, Africa rises. The Berlin Conference divided us with lines on the map. Today, fences and boycotts threaten to do the same. Burkina Faso and Mali's refusal to attend may sting Nigeria diplomatically, but it forces the continent to confront the uncomfortable truth: true defense cannot be built on suspicion. It must be built on trust, on solidarity, and on a recognition that instability anywhere in Africa is a shared problem, not a foreign virus to be fenced off. So, brothers and sisters, the boycott of Nigeria's defense summit is more than a political move, it is a call for honesty. A demand that Africa stops blaming itself and starts healing itself. Will Nigeria and the Sahel reconcile? Or will fences, real or imagined, become the new borders of mistrust? The answer lies in whether Africa is ready to choose unity over division, bridges over fences, and Pan-Africanism over suspicion. Because as Captain Ibrahim Traoré himself said, we are behind, but united we will catch up.
You all sincerely, and we thank you for being here to join the crop of people whom you showed the way and who now are doing such great work, like the current Chief of Defense Staff. We thank you most sincerely for being here. This is the moment when we begin to invite the regional bodies to assist us in talking through how regional bodies are important, are critical, are useful for talking about security across borders and ensuring that every nation joined together at the hip is safe and secure.
Yes, here we are. Welcome and greetings all of you brothers and sisters here in the continent and to you who are in the diaspora. It's my hope that you're okay, you are doing well. What you heard is true. Burkina Faso and Mali have officially boycotted the African Defense Summit in Nigeria. I saw some reactions from Africans in social media, some trying to find the reason behind. Maybe it's because of Nigeria's Chief of Defense suggestion that there's a need to build a fence to separate Nigeria from the Sahel, claiming that the region is unstable. Also, others went far by saying that in the summit or in that summit, some Europeans defense officials were invited, for instance, from France, from UK, and also from other parts of the world who are not Africans. Maybe it is the reason. But all in all, maybe Mali and Burkina Faso themselves, they know the real reason behind of boycotting this African Defense Summit. Some went far by saying that maybe this is not okay because we expect Africans to come together, to unite. But all in all, there's something that is not okay. Maybe diplomatic relationship. We know that Nigeria welcomed General Langley, and of course there's a rumor that America want to establish a base in Nigeria. But all in all, we are not clear on the main reason. But I was watching the opening ceremony of this summit. There's something that has shocked me. This summit is African Defense Summit. But what I saw there, I saw Europeans, I saw other civilization, and I asked myself, is it African Defense Summit? Or it is African because it is held in Nigeria? And what are going to be discussed in this summit? About Africa? Yes, about Africa, peace and security. So there are some countries that have been accused. For instance, we know that France has been accused by Mali and Burkina Faso for supporting destabilization in their borders. So if France officials are being invited to come and hearing what African Chief of Defenses are discussing concerning about how they can fight terrorism, and those who are supporting those things are there. In this African summit, are we going to solve the challenges or we are going to expose ourselves? That's what I discovered. And I tried to brainstorm myself. When European Union conducting their defense summit, are they inviting African nations? Are they inviting African chief of defenses? When NATO sat down and discussed their own issues, Africans or African nations or representatives are there? Maybe they are there. But let us go back a little bit. When Europeans sat down in Berlin, are they welcomed Africans that we are going to divide this continent, this and this? Are they did that? No. They sat as Europeans. They do what they feel it is better for them. Maybe it is too far. Maybe when UN was formed, and right now we have UN Security Council that consists of almost 5 members with veto power. When they created United Nations, Africans were there? No, Africans were not invited. There are those who may say maybe Africa, there's no African nation that has attained independence. But it's almost more than 60 years since the formation of UN. What's thing hinder or stopping UN to reform the UN Security Council and to include Africa? What's stopping UN to include Africa in the UN Security Council with the veto power? So you can see that when others are doing their own issues, Africa is not there. Africa is not included. Maybe it is too far. Let us come when NATO sat down and said Gaddafi is that and that. African leaders, are they invited? No. And we saw when African leaders tried to solve the crisis in Libya, some of them were on board. They told, go back. Who told them? This is powerful. Why? Because they see Africans or Africa, you have nothing to offer. So if Africans, we are not invited on the table, why we invite others? I'm not talking about maybe to separate others because we are not living in the island. We are living in the global village. But look, when others are sitting down to strategize and to create their own thing, they're not including Africans. African nations, African people are not there. So why we Africans, when we want to solve these challenges, we include the others? Why them, when they want to do their own thing, they're not including us? There are some weakness that we have as Africans. And that's why I think those are just my thoughts. Don't take this as maybe as a conclusion. No, these are just my thoughts. Maybe this is the reason why Mali and Burkina Faso boycotted the summit, because it doesn't make sense that the one who is creating trouble is also being part of discussion to solve the challenge. So we cannot solve our challenge with those who are causing the problem or causing the challenge. And that's why I think Mali and Burkina Faso decided to boycott the summit. Those are my opinions. Maybe you have something special, you know more than me. I'm trying to share my thoughts because there's no clear reason why Mali and Burkina Faso officially boycotted the African Defense Summit. But all in all, brothers and sisters, we want to see a united Africa. But we cannot see a united Africa in a betrayal forms, because these things sometimes is being sponsored by others. You can find that even the summit is being sponsored by other people. And sometimes, you know, we conduct these summits because those who are maybe exploiting resources, or those who are investing in your resources, they see some difficulties. So they find a way to use Africans to fight on their behalf. That's what they're doing. We have seen that, of course, Malema exposed this secret that some Africans, of course, who are in defense are being used to protect the interests of investors or of multinational companies. That's what is going. That's what was going on. And Malema said this clearly when South African defense force were attacked in Democratic Republic of Congo. You would remember there's a crisis, some rumors and misunderstanding between President Kagame, President Ramaphosa, and you saw the Parliament of South Africa reacted, is calling, asking President Ramaphosa to bring back their soldiers, and of course, finally, their soldiers were brought back to South Africa from Democratic Republic of Congo. But what Malema said is that their soldiers or South African Defense Force soldiers were being used to protect the interest of others. So Africans, we are being trained to protect the interest of other people, not to protect the interest of ourselves. You see, there's something that I don't understand. Of course, you may help me. We see these people who are destabilizing our continent or destabilizing our territories. These people have modern equipment to fight. They know how to launch drones. They know how to conduct attack. They have intelligence. Who give them? Who train them? Who train them? If it's we Africans, we are betraying each other. We are destroying our continent. If it's not us. So, how, sometimes you can wonder. If you look, for instance, Mali and Burkina Faso are landlocked countries. So you may ask, to go to Burkina Faso, you have to pass to neighboring countries. You cannot go direct. Maybe if you are dropping from the air, it is possible. But if you want to go to Mali or Burkina Faso, you have to pass in other countries. So how these jihadists are penetrating to reach Mali, to reach Burkina, to reach Niger, which way they are using, so that they cannot be seen. So that's something that Africans, we need to wake up. We need to understand. And if we don't find the root causes, we are going nowhere. We have these summits for the benefit of others. Of course, people are creating money. But we are not going to solve the challenge. And you cannot solve the challenge by including those who are causing these problems. We need, as Africans, to sit down. And that's why I called, if you are familiar with this platform, I asked the President Museveni. And I said, Museveni, you are an elder. You have fought in bushes. You have participated in different missions. President Kagame is the same. You are a soldier. You know how to fight. You know how to secure. We know what you have done to Rwanda. You have raised in Rwanda from the ashes. We have President Salva Kiir. He's a soldier. Traore is a soldier. Go to Niger, soldier. If you go to Mali, soldier. If you go to Sierra Leone, he's a soldier. So why not these African soldiers who are leaders, who are presidents, having their own summit and say, we are tired with this destabilization. Let us come together, create one thing that we can defend. We can clear these terrorists. It is possible. It is possible. The problem that we have, there is a big division. Africans, we are pretending. We are not really, we are pretending. And this pretending, or these things that we are doing, this pretending, we are going nowhere with this pretending. Let us stop pretending. Let us act. We are pretending that we are fighting terrorism, but we are not fighting terrorism. We are pretending that we are supporting each other, but we are not supporting each other. We are betraying each other. That's the reality. So families, friends, fellow Africans, let us not speak for too long. Maybe I can mislead something. But all in all, the aim is to share what and why Burkina Faso and Mali have officially boycotted the African Defense Summit. If you have more than what I thought and what I think, you can share with us through the comment section. Make sure that you subscribe to this platform to get more information, more updates. And if you have already subscribed, please make sure that you like the video and also you share the video to other Africans. We are here as Africans to find best solutions for challenges, because we believe in African solutions for African problems. So up that, let me say, have a nice time. See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make African great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.